tutorial shows how to define and edit logical connections using the Edit Nets dialog. Our example board has a terminal connector, a resistor, the push button and a LED. Let's define logical connections for our board. Logical connections, also called nets, specify which pads are to be electrically connected prior to creating traces that actually make the connections. We will use the Edit Nets dialog to define the connections. To start, choose Nets, Edit Nets. The ground net is already created. There will be only 2 pins in this net, the negative battery terminal and the LED cathode. To add a pin, select it in the right column and click the lower than sign button. Now let's define the connection between the LED's anode and the resistor's pin. Click Create Net. Enter the name. Click OK. Select each of the pins to be connected and click the lower than sign button. You can see that the logical connection blue lines appear as we add pins. Define the other connections the same way. The pins that are not been used, add to the special empty net. Pins of the empty nets are not to be electrically connected. Click OK to close the dialog and see if the connections are correct. We can see that there is a mistake. This resistor pin is not connected to anything and the LED would be fed with 12 volts, which is too high. To correct that, choose Nets, Edit Nets. Select the problematic net. Select the LED anode pin in the middle list and click the greater than sign button. Click Create Net to add the missing connection. Enter the name. Click OK. Add the LED anode pin and the resistor's other pin. Let's give better names for our nets. Click to select the net. Click again, and change the name. Let's turn our 2-layer board into a 4-layer board and use the inner layers for connections. Close the Edit Nets dialog. Choose Job, Settings. Select 4 layers. Press Enter. Choose Nets, Edit Nets. The checkmark in the second column indicates that the ground net pins will be connected using a solid plane in the second inner layer. Click to set the check mark in the first column next to the V+ net to make the net connections on the first inner layer. There are 2 more columns in the next list. The route column indicates nets that will be routed by the auto router. For the auto router to skip a net, click to uncheck the cell of the route column. Click the column header to check or uncheck all records. In the trace width column you can specify the trace width to use by the auto router. If nothing entered, the default value defined in the router settings dialog will be used. To define the trace width, click the column cell to select it. Then click again and enter the width, say 0.03 inch. There are several ways to define logical connections. Using the Edit Nets dialog might be a good choice if you want to define nets from your paper schematic diagram.